wellnesscouch.com, streaming wellness into your lives.
You're listening to A Quirky Journey, the healthy family podcast with your hosts Jo Whitten and Leah Follett. Welcome to A Quirky Journey. Join us as we share our family's journeys to good health. You'll find plenty of inspiration, tips and recipe ideas, as well as stories from everyday people who've struggled and overcome health problems and diet challenges in their own families. I'm Jo Whitten, author of the blog and book Quirky Cooking, and I'm here with my friend and co-host Leah Follett. Hi Leah.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. We are excited about today's podcast because we're going to be talking about Christmas.
All right, okay, we've got to back it up though.
Oh.
The phone call went, Christmas is just in a few weeks and we haven't recorded a Christmas podcast. Do you think we should? So we're going to try and squeeze this one in.
Yes.
With, we've really not given it that much thought.
But hey, we figure we've done Christmas a few times and we've done healthy Christmases, both of us, before. And especially I've been thinking a lot about GAPS Christmas. So
okay, cool.
We've got lots of ideas for you, I think, don't we?
We do. We do.
So we're calling this How to Survive a Quirky Christmas.
I laughed. I thought that was good.
Yeah,
It feels like survival. And for any of our families out there that have made or, been diagnosed, they've made transitions into a better health, a better lifestyle for themselves, or there's things that they've just decided are no-go zones anymore, this will be a particularly daunting time for them, I think.
Yes, and I think I've seen already, I put a post on my Facebook page last night saying, what kind of treats do you really miss at Christmas time that you can't have anymore because of your health or diet or whatever? And there's so many, I so miss fruitcake, I so miss pavlova, I so miss, and all these people because you grow up with it and every year it's such a tradition and it becomes part of the family, the special family traditions, those foods become very important to you.
Mm-hmm. So, and for some of us, we only have them at that particular time of year as well. It's not an everyday food. No. So then have to wait all year to be able to have those things and then to have to forego them for the better health of the whole system. It can be really hard, but not negative. It's empowering. You're making a choice.
And we have lots of ideas for you. I know for me, my very favourite thing about Christmas has always been getting together with the whole family and having that. Just what I love the most is when my sisters are there. I've got 2 sisters and a brother. When my sisters and brother are there and all the kids, there's about 18 now, but I get mixed up. There might be more. And everyone's running around and talking at the same time, and us girls are in the kitchen with mum just chatting and laughing and reminiscing and cooking, and that is just the best thing about Christmas for me. And, it doesn't, to me, it really, when you think about it, it really doesn't matter so much what we're cooking. It's just that time together that is the best.
Yeah. We try really hard to get everyone together, but we've got a fairly scattered family and then with extended families, and sometimes that doesn't happen. So for Christmas in my house, or for the last couple of years, for me, it's been my personal time of reflection because it's the one time that we've got Mark home for 5 days. We're all in the house.
Yes.
And we can go and spend some more time outside, and it just leads me into a deeper thinking or place where I start to consider my friends, where I am in my relationships, where I'm living, and the greater world. So, and also the opportunities that are going to be coming up for me in, say the next 12 months, or even, for New Year's, and where I'm going to be transitioning to. It's this time of rebirth for me.
Yep.
So just sitting there with my diary or my morning pages, doing some creative writing, that's really been part of my Christmas.
And that's what I do love about Christmas time is the time off, the downtime. No other time in the year can you just practically take the phone off the hook and, just be you and your family, and people don't bother you. For that whole week between Christmas and New Year's, it's like total quiet. It's so lovely.
It's almost a guilty pleasure though.
Oh, it is.
Because you've been rushed and pushed, and then you've been blessed with this downtime. And I have worked retail before, so I've worked in chemist and worked right up to the last hour of midnight trade, and then gone home and wrapped presents and woken up exhausted. But it's that last little bit of guilt-free, just family downtime.
Yes.
You've got that bit of sanity up
so
your sleeve,
needed.
and it feels like you've been waiting all year for it.
Yes, definitely. You know, when we were kids, my mum never stopped. Like, you'd get up in the morning, mum was already up. She was always up. She was always busy. And at Christmas time was the one time, you know, between Christmas and New Year's, we'd just sit down and she'd be doing a jigsaw puzzle and she would actually be relaxing. It was like, yay! So I know that, you know, for all of our family, that's been a special time. And like you said, our family is very scattered now, which is sad. Thankfully, I live across the road from my mum, so we've got grandma and grandpa close by, but the rest of them sort of come and go now and then. But still, for us, the cooking part of Christmas is very important. But let's talk about, it's not just about food. So, you know, what sort of traditions and things that are important so that we don't just focus on the food?
No, well, we'll do a food wrap up at the end, maybe.
We will.
Okay, so something I hold in my house is at Halloween we put the Christmas stockings up, and that may sound really odd, but it's for good reason. My kids obviously don't have all the candy and those sorts of things, so I have taught them through modelling. So the first year, Mark and I did it, and because they were too little to grasp the concept of what was going on. And then in, you know, following years, they've been able to understand what's going on. So now at Halloween, they collect the candy and it goes into the Christmas stockings. And at Christmas, it's kind of like it's currency then. There's an extra small, an extra present that they really, really want. And that just a little note goes into the Santa stocking, and it's kind of like an exchange program. But it's really important. They know what's going on. It's really important. And it's for them, they've delayed gratification. They haven't eaten that candy straight away. And, you know, it's quite a long time. And if I could do it starting from Easter, I would. But, the chocolate eggs in the Santa stocking just doesn't go. You know, living in Australia, it's always hot, even over winter. But, you know, like we're hot and warm inside and things just melt and it just perish anyway. But that's something that we do in our house. So the candy comes in, it goes in the stocking, and then the kids know it's there. They count it, they treasure it, they prize it, and they're so thankful when they see Santa or they see another kid or they get a Christmas card with a candy cane in from school or whatever. It's not, they don't take the attitude that, oh no, we can't eat that. We don't eat sugar. Sugar's bad for you. You shouldn't be having that. They are so grateful that they have been thought of and given a candy cane, and they just stash it in their pocket. And people think that that's normal. You know, like, he's going to save that for later. Little do they know, well, now they know because everybody knows. So they're trading it in for a bigger prize, a bigger reward.
And that's such a good thing to teach kids, like you said, the delayed gratification and swapping it for something better.
I have a friend that's studying psychology. She tells me that you don't actually understand that delayed gratification until you're 8 years old. So Gabriel, who's 5, he hasn't got the full concept of what's going on, but I hang the stocking high enough that he can't get it. So that's okay. But William, who's 10, he's really getting it now.
So that's good.
And it helps with saving their pocket money as well. William saved for a flight to Melbourne and went and did that, and it took him 12 months. But that's not such a big deal because he's used to doing this 4 months saving candy for Christmas. So
that's true. It teaches
and that's how we get
wait.
through. That's our biggest thing, I think, as far as Christmas.
That's a good tradition.
It is. What's yours?
Our traditions are generally around faith and family. So we have, we'll go to church for a service around Christmas time. We'll have a lot of our church friends will get together on either Christmas Eve or the evening of Christmas Day. And what we generally do is everybody brings all their leftovers after Christmas dinner. So you have your Christmas lunch, and then at night...
It's a potluck Christmas!
Yeah, potluck Christmas. That's what we love. And so we'll all get together, usually just at mum's or at a friend's place, and everyone just comes and brings all their leftover turkey and everything else, and we just have a big get-together, and it's so much fun. We had last year, it got a bit crazy because my mum and dad just have a small 2-bedroom house, and but we live on a quiet street, close, and you can say go play in the street to the kids and they can. It's no big deal. So
I love that. You couldn't do that where I live.
No.
Go play in the street. Oops, there's a bus. There's a taxi.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
No, it's nice and quiet in our street. The basketball hoop sits out on the street for the street kids to play with and, But we just invited all the church friends to come, and there was 70 of us.
Oh, wow.
And just everyone's roaming around the street, and the lights and the the fun and the kids playing and, you know, in and out of the house eating and sharing, and it's just so much fun. We had games and music and...
Oh, I want an invitation.
Or you can come with us here. We're having a street party with our neighbourhood. So our little street, we have such a nice bunch of neighbours, and we're having a street party. So Cassie has gone and made invitations for all the people in the street and put them in all the mailboxes, and we're going next Friday night. We're all getting together, tables in the middle of the street in the close, at the end of the close, and everybody brings food and everybody brings drinks to share, and we'll just sit and have a good, you know, get together with the neighbours. So things like that to me are the fun of Christmas.
Right. I just want to go and door knock the apartment block across from me now. I've got the pub. I'll go and invite everyone from the pub, and then I'll go to the apartment down the road. And who else can I dig up?
And I should mention also my dad usually finds a few strays and invites them too. He's been known to go to parks and find people sleeping on benches and bring them home as well, because everybody should have family and friends to be with at Christmas.
Oh, that's a beautiful sentiment.
Yeah. No one should be left out.
No. Well, we're all for inclusion, aren't we?
Yes.
Sorry. Oh, Peppy. Sorry. I hear Peppy.
Yeah, the
Peppy
dog's
the dog.
barking. Somebody's probably coming to the door. That's okay. Keep going.
All right. Okay, so going on the basis that Christmas isn't just about the food, something I like to do is I try to make the house, because Christmas, yes, okay, it tastes like Christmas, but it should smell like Christmas and it should look like Christmas. So I make sure that the table is really well dressed. I make sure that the stockings are hung with care, and I've got the bunting and the tree and all those other things. But then I like to address, because there's still some foods that we don't we don't have in our diet, but I still want the smell of that. And my mum makes these little, she gets a navel orange and she pushes in not garlic cloves. Oh, that'd be terrible. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Yeah, my mum's house smells like garlic. She's going to kill me.
I love garlic.
She gets those cloves, you know, the little dried cloves in the herb section. So she presses that into the outside of the orange, and as the orange sort of dries out, it becomes more compacted and you can't see any bits of orange, but the whole house smells of cloves. And for me, that's something that she does over summer, because the orange dries so much quicker, and it just smells. The fragrance. So looking at it from what's that thing called? A nose, from a nasal, from the scent. So the house smells like Christmas and looks like Christmas are two of the most important things for us as well. So incorporating those things. We also do the cricket and the swimming, and we get out on the bikes and we decorate the bikes. So all those things, all those things take up time, because if you're not participating in all those activities on Christmas Day, it's going to be a very long Christmas day if you're just going to, honour the Christmas food for this period. You've got a whole rest of the day to fill up. So for us, it's a lot of crafts and activities and getting out and enjoying being out.
Yes, and I found that even when we were eating more traditionally, I can never eat very much, and you in half an hour to an hour, Christmas dinner's done. You've got to have other things to fill the day. Some people can just sit there and eat all day. I can't. But
that's called grazing.
Yeah. One thing that
I'm a grazer.
Are you?
Yes.
As long as it's nothing too sweet and filling, I can do that. But Christmas dinner is usually quite, substantial. And then I'm full for hours.
Definitely.
But one thing we always did was, tradition in our family was always made homemade ice cream on Christmas Day with the old-fashioned ice cream churn, the big wooden bucket, and you hand churn it. And my mum always made the peach ice cream with fresh peaches, and so.
Okay, I need this on YouTube. Have you got a YouTube channel? I need to see this. This needs to go up on Christmas Day. I need to see that. That's amazing.
I was about to say she's gotten rid of it. I know, it's very sad. She got an electric one. You see, she upgraded, and I was like, "No, Mum." I don't know what happened to it. She probably gave it to my sister. She nicks everything. No.
I'm going to be in so much trouble on Christmas Day. She would have heard this podcast.
I know.
You are going to be in trouble.
That's okay. We always pay out.
It's not going to be a harmonious Christmas kitchen.
Yes, it is. It's pretty normal. But what I do now is make a dairy-free ice cream that suits everything that we can have, so that we can still have our homemade ice cream on Christmas Day, because that's an important part of our Christmas.
And it's so hot too.
And I generally make it in my Thermomix, to tell the truth.
I've tried that.
Have you?
And I just can't get it to the right consistency, and then I accidentally left my bowl in the freezer.
Oh.
And of course, you can't put it back in the Thermomix and turn it on.
No.
So I have to leave it to thaw, and then it's all a runny mess over again.
I'll have to write down how I do it for you.
No, I want a video. I'm a visual person. I want to see it.
Okay, video it is. Peach ice cream, peach vanilla.
Peach vanilla ice cream in the Thermomix.
All right, let's do it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Need that. Mm-hmm.
Another thing that, like you said, these other traditions like cricket and stuff like that, we always had water fights. So all the kids get a water pistol in their stocking, and everyone has water fights. So that's a good fun on Christmas Day.
Oh, that's a good idea. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, it's always so hot.
Oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I'm just going to write that down on my list. Here we go. Nerf gun. Nerf gun.
Oh, Nerf guns are good too. But water guns are good.
Isn't that what they're called? Is it the brand?
Nerf guns are the ones with the little rubber bullets.
The little rubber darts.
I think you might be able to get water guns that are Nerf guns.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Very good. All right, cool. Okay, well, let's talk about the food.
Yes, let's.
Because we keep. I know we're trying to stay away from the food, but we're talking about peach ice cream and chocolates melting and all kinds of things. We keep ending up back at food.
That's right.
So we're not doing that great. So we'll just move on to that. So if you're early gaps, we go back to we're still on the slow cooked meats.
Yes.
So that's not too easy. I would probably suggest. What would I suggest in a slow-cooked meat that would make it a bit different? Maybe if you did a chook in the slow cooker, maybe you could use some more Christmas-like herbs to season it in some way.
I did put a recipe on my blog.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Showing how I would do a chicken slow-cooked for Christmas. And what I do is put the fresh herbs on top. So I don't completely cover the chicken with water. I sort of leave the back out. Mm-hmm. And then sprinkle that with herbs and lemon zest, fresh lemon zest, and just let that cook slowly until the chicken is just about to fall off the bones, really nicely well cooked.
Oh, wow.
And then I take the whole chicken out and put it onto the serving platter and wrap it up in foil and keep it warm in the oven while I cook the veggies. So I just take the broth and put it in a pot on the stove and cook the veggies in the broth, and then scoop them out. And you can arrange them nicely around the chicken or put them in their own platter. And I do all sorts of veggies pumpkin, carrot, squash, zucchini, broccolini, Brussels sprouts, whatever. So you just add them, depending on what they are, add the harder ones first until you've added them all in.
Yes.
And then I take all that out, and then you've still got the broth simmering and the veggies and chicken are keeping warm in the oven, and then just simmer that broth right down until you've got gravy. And then it's got the herbs in it, it's got the flavours from the veggies and the meat. And so it's just, and add some gelatine to the broth and then simmer that down until you've got a thick gravy. So basically just reduce it because you can't add starches.
No.
So that's basically how I would do it for intro gaps.
Brilliant. We do, I think there's a posh name, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly. Chevice. Is it chevice or ceviche or something?
Yeah, that
anyway, yeah. Well, that thing. We call it kokoda because when we were over in Fiji, they cooked the fish for us. They sliced it, really cubed it into tiny little bits, and then they cooked it in a lemon juice and then rinsed off the lemon juice and then put on fresh lemon juice and then put in all these herbs. So it's more like a cold salad, but the fish hasn't actually been cooked, so it's still very much a raw fish thing, but it's just so beautiful.
So you cook it in the lemon juice, or you don't cook it?
Well, no, the lemon juice just cooks it.
Oh, it's a bit like a marinade, like when you do salmon, raw salmon.
Raw salmon. Yeah. So it just marinates in that. It cooks it by itself. And Mark, just because he's the king of this in the house.
And what fish do you use?
Oh, I think he uses. I don't know.
Okay.
I think
something very fresh.
I don't know. I think it's a mahi.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that is. Well, I'm pretty sure that's what he used, but it's a really dense white fish, like very, very fleshy. So it's not flaky and it doesn't fall apart.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask him. I'll get back to you on that.
Or maybe we can find a link or something. We can
do something like that.
Yeah.
We also do a pineapple salad. So that's something else that we do. We, like fresh pineapple, coconut shred, and that just all gets, stirred in. And it's not something that we would have every day because it's a great deal of fruit and sweetness. And if you get in Queensland pineapples, oh my gosh, they are amazing. So we do that. And then Mark also likes to put, like we would normally have, what are those things? The spinach leaves and some lettuce mix and those types of things, and then he just do small slithers of mango through the salad, and that makes it it's a special thing as well that he likes to do for the family.
With the pineapple and coconut one, what else is in it?
It's just the coconut cream. Mm-hmm. So I make my own and I set it in the fridge. Yep. So then I get the cream off the top, so it's thicker. Yeah, and then it's just the coconut shred and the pineapple, and that's it. That's all we use it. So it's more like a tablespoon size serving on the side of the plate, not like a whole bowl.
And you eat that with the main meal?
Yeah, I eat that with the main meal. It's beautiful with
I'm glad
some
to hear
ham
that.
or some pork or with something else.
I'm really glad to hear that because my friend Lauren keeps hassling me about having sweet things with my main meal.
Are you serious?
Because in our family with the American traditions, we have every Christmas we have a jelly salad. And that goes with the main meal. It's like with the roast turkey and the cranberry sauce, which is also sweet. Actually, American Christmases have a lot of sweet things with the turkey.
And Canadian Christmases, my brother-in-law, his mum, Heather, she makes like a sweet potato mash thing, and then she puts like marshmallow on the top.
That's disgusting.
And I've only just worked out how to do marshmallow in the last couple of weeks, so I'm sitting there thinking, I wonder.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. I find it a bit too sweet, that one.
But I'm thinking
if you do
half
it your
pumpkin,
version,
half sweet potato.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's an
Or
idea.
just all pumpkin.
Yeah.
So maybe I'd get away with that. But even then, you'd be having the tiniest amount.
Bit, yeah.
Maybe roast the pumpkin first and then pureed and then do that.
Because roast pumpkin is sweet enough, I think, yeah.
Yes.
But they have like candied yams, they call it. But with this jelly salad, it's actually, the recipe's in my cookbook, the one that I do, because I obviously changed it from the traditional box of Jell-O. They make the jelly and mix it with cottage cheese and pecans and pineapple and celery and all these different things all mixed together. And I absolutely love it, but I can't bring myself to eat Jell-O these days and sugar and stuff like that. And I can't have the dairy. So I totally changed it and made one with the pecans and a few different fruits in it and my own homemade jelly and a bit of celery. So it's got the crunch from the nuts and the celery, and it's got the sweetness of the fruit and the jelly, and it works really well with your meat. So it's like almost like having a cranberry sauce jelly.
Oh,
so I
wow.
put cranberries in it and stuff. And my friend thinks it's the most awful thing she's ever heard of.
Oh, no. My mother-in-law, Denise, she puts peaches on pizza. And she was doing that. Well, I haven't lived with her for 15 years.
Wow, I haven't heard of that
Peaches on pizza.
There you go.
It's a dessert pizza, and then I saw...
Oh, I do have a dessert pizza recipe.
You have a dessert pizza?
Yeah.
Well, she was doing that way back before it was even common, and we'd look at her and raise our eyebrows and sort of snigger, but now you see the dessert bars and that sort of thing. They've got these pizza things. I'm like, she is before her time.
That's right.
So good. So good. So, with making jelly, can we talk about jelly just for a second?
Yes.
Let's divert. If anyone has a juicer, I highly recommend throwing some beetroot into the juicer and getting the beetroot juice and then adding that to, say, your jelly or making marshmallow out of it. I was so impressed because you can buy beetroot powder online.
But it's much better if you can juice it yourself.
And then being the considerate, lovable person that I am, I wondered if you just grated it up and put it in some water and left it to absorb the red into the water and then strained it, would it also work? And it did.
Oh, that's
good.
So
even if you don't have a juicer, there's no excuse to have the dirty red jelly from the supermarket. You can make your own.
Yeah. And what did you flavour it with besides the beetroot?
Well, we're quite partial to beetroot in my house. Okay. So I did a 2-layered marshmallow thing today, and I had the beetroot and I used honey as a sweetener, but the white layer, I had a bit of a fail. I thought I'd be really clever and make peppermint marshmallow with tea leaves instead of peppermint oil because I thought, because that's what I've got.
Yeah, that's right.
This is what I've got in my kitchen.
Same
so
here.
I'm rifling through the drawer and I've got a bit of, I had the lavender out and then I chose the peppermint. I went with that thinking, and it was really strong peppermint tea, and I thought, yep, this can be great. Completely got lost on the flavour of the honey and the vanilla bean powder that I used. Okay. So because of the vanilla bean powder, you couldn't taste the beetroot anyway.
Oh, okay. So just tell us what's actually in the jelly, how you make it.
Oh, I haven't got my recipe in front of me.
Oh, don't worry. Maybe
you put me on the spot.
We'll just post the link to the. We'll post the link.
Yeah, for making jelly, it's just the Greater Lakes gelatin, whatever juice I want, and then whatever the consistency is. I like jelly really thick. I like to be able to cut it and hold it. I don't like eating with the spoon. So, yeah, we'll have to post that up. But
basically, do you do about 500 grams of juice to 2 tablespoons of gelatin?
I put three because I like my
thick.
And that's what I used.
And then just whatever sweetener to taste, really.
Yeah. So today, when I made the marshmallows, I used a cup of water. Mm-hmm. So I put the grated, so probably about 2 inches of grated beetroot into a cup of warm water.
Yeah.
And let that, so the red came out into that. And then I put in 3 tablespoons of gelatin and a half a cup of honey. And then, as you know, with marshmallow, you just beat it up until it's all fluffy.
Okay. Well, after it's set, I haven't actually done it that way.
Oh, haven't you?
No.
No. Okay, so what did I do? I put it on the stove. So I put half the water in my Thermomix and half the water into a saucepan. And then I made a candy out of the honey and the water on the stove, and the other half was sitting in the Thermomix, just sort of softening the gelatin. And then I just once the honey mix came up to temperature at 220, then I just poured it into the top of the Thermomix really slowly whilst it was on a setting 4, and just kept whipping it for 8 minutes or something.
Oh, good.
And that's all I did. It was just so easy.
My kids will love that.
Yeah, so easy. So we'll have to get that up and organised too.
And then you've got your little jelly lollies as well for the kids for treats, the little jelly tubes, whatever you want to call them. They
are so cute. You can use carrot juice, you could use
berry
lemon
juice
and ginger and berries. We've got cherries. I've done cherry ones before as well.
And make them in pretty layers, so you've got colours.
You have. I saw one the other day. It was beetroot and spinach and then just a coconut sort of panna cotta on the top. So it was three layers together, and it was Christmas.
Red, green and white.
I know. I was so happy.
See, things like that, I actually find they're very quick to make as well, those jellies. Mm-hmm. And to have some things like that made secretly when the kids aren't around and that you bring out on Christmas Day, that's a really lovely treat.
Well, I think it is too. And you can do it ahead of time. It's not like you're going to be doing it on Christmas Day. Yeah. And for a lot of people, they spend Christmas Day in the kitchen and they're doing their roast and their turkey and all those other things.
You can do a lot of it ahead.
Us, it is. A lot of it ahead. Well, Australian Christmas is a hot Christmas, so you don't really want the oven on in the house. So anything you can have done prepared earlier is just so important. It's time consuming.
I find the jelly lollies, they freeze well.
They do.
Yeah, they don't go funny.
And then you can't chew them up and swallow them straight away. You've got to actually work at it. You've got to work at it.
Yes. What about, so we sort of talked about meats. There is ways to slow roast, for instance, turkey, duck, all of those different things. And I did post links for those recipes on my website because there's a really good, what is that website? There's a really good website called, I'm just going to find it, from Nourished Kitchen. Oh. She has some great recipes for like slow roasted turkey, slow roasted duck, roasted chicken with prosciutto and herbs. So things like that. If you can have the roasted meat, it's got a healthy way to do it, and and it's still roasted slowly, so it's not, so it's nice and tender.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I would also like to bring up the importance of the dinnerware.
Oh yes.
It is.
It's
with kids, every other day of the year, it just comes down to how you present their food on the plate and making it look enticing. So if they've got a piggy plate and you rearrange the veggies in the shape of a face and it's all happy and it's lovely, you do the same thing on Christmas Day. So it comes down to, for me, I like the big platters with all the Christmas wreaths around the outside and those colours, and I try to keep it fairly traditional. I only bring those out at Christmas. So for that, for me, is quite exciting because I have to go digging through my cupboards because it's right at the back of the cupboard and get that out and get it cleaned. And that to me is, putting it roast all sliced up on a Christmas platter. Yeah. We have roast once a week. It's not special, but as soon as it goes on my Christmas platter with some
special.
Those little whole baked onions.
Yeah.
To the point where they're not crunchy and charcoaled, but they're just slow roasted and nice and soft, and you just have them around the outside, and it just makes all the difference.
And the little side dishes, like we were saying, the jellies or the salads or the fancy looking vegetables, it can all make such a difference. I think things like silverware, lovely table napkins and things like that, arrangements on the table.
Well, what about even place cards?
Place cards, yeah.
Place cards, little place cards that you flip open and you've got a nice sentiment written personally to that person.
Yeah.
That's special.
That is special. It
is. You know, like it's kind of like giving gratitude to that person. It might be you might want to put on there something that they've helped you out with that they haven't actually realised that you're still holding that dear. You're still holding that memory and your appreciation for that. It might be 12 months since they actually did that, but then they're sitting there going, oh, that makes dinner all the more special for them.
It does. And even something like, although you've already done the gift giving in the morning, you might save a tiny little gift for each person and put it on their plate. And when they come to sit down, they've got another little present they didn't expect, or something like that. Can be a nice way to sort of make Christmas meal more special, even if it is a lot of the same foods you've been having, especially if you're on gaps.
Because you just end up recycling the same things until you move through those different stages, and then you get to stage 6, and then you're thinking, oh my gosh, I can have this. We're
so happy. We're just about stage 6. We're sort of in between 5 and 6. I'm not really sure because we've sort of swapped a few things around, but we can have some fruit. So we were so excited that we could have cherries at Christmas.
Oh.
Yes,
I've got a box of cherries, and I have to limit myself to 2 a day.
Do you know what? I could put cherries in the kids' Christmas stockings, and they wouldn't even miss the lollies.
I can put a tin of mussels in Gabriel's.
He
always loves mussels.
My kids always want olives in their Christmas stocking. Is there some kind of olives I can get them that they can eat?
Okay,
Don't know if they're up to olives.
Okay, if you were going to have them, I would go straight to Loving Earth.
Oh yes.
And I would they do a dehydrated olive.
Oh.
So it's got the cold-pressed oil on it, it's got some herbs in it, and they're just dehydrated olives, and that's it.
Okay, right. I'm going to go visit Loving Earth after this.
I don't know how they would go for the person that's high histamine, but it's...
A little bit.
A little
Christmas Day.
A little bit. And you've got to be happy with your choices. It's not about... It's about sticking to your ideal and what you can do. But if you've got to go outside of that to make Christmas special for you and to feel that and to embrace what Christmas is, then it is one day a year.
Yeah.
And provided it's not... If you're on a gut healing diet and providing it's not, the gluten or wheat or if dairy's your thing or whatever, or sheep or sugar, just... have a couple of mouthfuls, enjoy it, really practice that mindful eating, chew 50 times, make all the grunting noises as you're cutting into something and really make a mess of it. Enjoy and lick the plate, do all those things so you get every little bit of it, but make sure that you don't, because you don't want anyone to feel like they missed out.
Yeah, that's
There's nothing, there would be nothing worse in the world that you've built up Christmas, and like I build it up all year. I'm so excited to put up the tree, and I'm buying little things and stashing them away in the cupboard all year just for Christmas, and then to feel that Christmas was lacking in some way.
Yeah.
You've just got to make a decision and hope it sits with you and sits and aligns with what your priorities are for you. And it's one day, and if you make a mistake, you have too much, you get back on the bandwagon the next day, and you just keep going.
Yeah, that's true. What about breads? We always traditionally used to have, hot homemade bread rolls out of the oven to go with our Christmas dinner. This year we'll be having paleo bread. So it'll be a grain-free almond meal, sort of a bread. Either there's one on my blog that I've got that we're quite enjoying, or there's one in my cookbook. So something like that, or maybe even one with grated zucchini in it. And so what I'm planning on doing is just putting the bread batter into muffin cups and making bread rolls that way. So do you have a favourite bread at Christmas, or do you not really have bread as part of your...
Up to this point, up until right now, I didn't have a favourite bread at Christmas, but this year is going to be the first year that I actually make a bread for Christmas, and it's going to be the Merrymakers green bread.
Oh.
It's bright green. It's made with spinach.
Cool.
I'm going to make that because when I've seen it in their cookbooks.
Yeah. And
when you open it up, it is vivid green.
It's awesome.
Like the same colour as Shrek. But that would be so cool to have on the table, like this nice bread roll, and then that's a great idea, putting it in a muffin tin to get that shape. Yeah. That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
I could do that. So definitely, I think this year that maybe that might be the kick-off and the start of the tradition.
And then whatever bread's left over is good for, breakfast the next morning, toasted, and so.
Yes.
Yeah.
I make my own chocolate.
Yes, definitely. Except we're not supposed to have chocolate. Okay, come on, Leah. As my health coach, can't you just let me have Christmas off and I can have chocolate?
You know what? I'm going to let you decide. Whatever sits well with you on that day and whatever ramifications ensue after that day, it's all on you, Joe. You know
great.
your own threshold. You know your tolerance. You know the intolerance. You know how far you can go.
Yeah.
You know, like it's that imaginary bucket and how full the bucket load is and if you can put any more in it before it overflows.
It's true.
So
I'll be very careful.
I'm not going to tell you that you can't because chocolate's just such an important thing in my life. I even went away and I had to make it. I'm like,
I noticed that.
I was desperate. So instead of using the raw cacao I would normally use, my hoity-toity one, which I love, I used the dirty old cocoa. And I used coconut oil and then I used just plain honey and it served its purpose. I needed that.
Did the job.
I was only away 2 days. You think I could have waited? No, couldn't have done it. Couldn't have possibly done it.
After 4.5 months of not having chocolate, I made the white chocolate, the one that I put on my blog.
Yes.
And all it is basically...
That was the one with the berries in it?
Yeah, with the berries.
Okay.
So it's basically cacao butter, honey, salt, vanilla bean, all melted together and poured over frozen berries. That's about all. And it was so yum. I ate too much of it and suffered. But if I know that I can only have a little bit, I might be okay.
Might be okay. We'll see. And not forgetting that for the people that are having chocolate, they've got those chocolate molds. Oh, and you know that chocolate mousse recipe I made?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so you put it in the fridge and let it set a little bit. Then you can get a teaspoon of it and roll it in the ball. And then you can put it inside the chocolate mold. So you put in the chocolate and then you stick the ball inside. So then you've got a soft centre chocolate.
Oh, yum.
I know. I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm so excited.
So have you posted that recipe on your blog or do they need to subscribe to a newsletter to get it?
It's on my newsletter. I wanted to keep something special for the people that go the extra distance and actually try and track me down. And
so how do they find your newsletter subscription?
Well, it's just on akisasbalance.com.
Okay.
So if they go there and just, there's a little box there and they can fill that out and we just send out the newsletter because, you've got to have something for special friends.
That's right.
You've got to have something for specials.
Yes.
You were talking earlier about drinks.
Yes. Well, one of the things that my kids absolutely love and they feel is quite special is just simple freezing cold mineral water with frozen berries floating in it. Pretty frozen berries. Or sometimes they'll put cold coconut water with frozen berries. And for them, that's just a very special drink.
Okay, so are you making the berries and putting them into the ice cubes?
No, just
straight.
The frozen berries are the ice. But you already have the mineral water or the coconut water cold.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you just put that in?
Yeah, easy.
Okay.
Another one, is the ginger fizz in my cookbook, the dry ginger fizz. So that one is lots and lots of fresh ginger ground up in the Thermomix. And in the recipe book it says coconut sugar, but I just halve the amount and use honey. And it's got lime in it and mineral water, basically, and ice. And you just whiz it all up and strain it. And it's kind of like making a cordial, and you have that without the fizzy water in it, just water in it, and you have that in a bottle in the fridge, and then whenever you want to serve some out, you just pour some of that into a glass and add the cold mineral water. So then that way it's kind of depends on how strong you want it. You can sort of alter it to taste.
Very good, very good. And there are, we've had kombucha in our house and we've had kefir water in our house, and both those are delightful, but we don't have them all the time. It's a special occasion thing. And I have noticed now that you can get kombucha at the shops.
Yes.
You can get it already in a bottle. How nice would that be to have a few of those sort of sitting on the table or in your little ice bucket there? That would be really special.
Yeah.
Or what are those things called? Those things that put the bubbles in the water.
Oh, the soda stream.
What if you made your own cordial and then you put your own soda stream in and you put the whole
it's a good Christmas present.
It is. I'm writing that down now. I've got a list on here, so I'm just writing soda stream. I've got jelly salad, and I've got ginger fizz, and I've got Nerf guns, and this is. I like
adding to her Christmas list.
Yeah, the brainstorming activity. This is gold.
Good.
Keep going, Joe.
Oh, you keep going too. You were mentioning a special hot chocolate. What was that one you were telling me about?
Oh, I found that. I'm so excited. Yeah. Visually, it was so exciting. Now, I've put it on in our Dropbox, in our notes thing. So when you go to post that up, it'll be in there.
The link.
And it's by someone called the Urban Poser at Blogspot.
Okay.
And she does a dairy-free cocoa with a peppermint marshmallow. So this is where I got my peppermint idea, and it just, like, I would have loved to have made peppermint marshmallow today, but I only had tea instead of peppermint oil. But if you have a look at hers, in the top of her cocoa, it's this beautiful chocolatey thing, and she's got a square marshmallow, and it's peppermint, and it's got the peppermint swirl in it, so with the red.
Oh, lovely.
So it looks like a candy cane, a square candy cane floating on the top of her cup. How special would that be?
That would be really special.
The night before Christmas, sitting down to cocoa with a peppermint thing in the top of it. Like, that would just... My kids wouldn't be able to go to
sleep.
To bed.
They'd be so excited.
Yeah, I'd have to take them for a run. They're like a set of huskies. It's like you feed them, and then I did a rod challenge. Here we go. They are going to cross Alaska, no problems.
Oh, that's so funny.
We're not going to get them to bed at any time soon. But maybe we could do that for breakfast.
Yeah, maybe that's a good idea.
Is that something you do? We don't have. If we have sweet potato, we never have it at night time because it's just too high energy for us, and we all get the wriggles. But we will have it for breakfast.
Yeah. Well, we haven't had hot chocolate for supper for a long time, but we always used to, and the kids still sort of seem to go to bed, but we haven't had it for so long that maybe, like you're saying, if you only have it rarely, it probably would.
You do. You down-regulate. Your body doesn't get, it gets used to not having those things and not processing those things, so your threshold's lower.
That's right.
That's why we're so sensitive to the sweet potatoes and those sorts of things. And on a daily basis, we don't have as many sugars as, say, the next person. And then when we have them, it's kind of like, whoa, we can go run a marathon, which is great because then we don't need the coffee as a stimulant. We can just have half a banana.
That's right. Who needs coffee?
Who needs coffee? Why? I get all my energy from food and my fats. It's fine.
Yeah, it's good.
But yes, definitely. I think I'll be able to do that Christmas morning.
Yes.
And then we will have to go for a run before we do anything else.
Oh, well, that's good.
Well, that's all right. We'll decorate the bikes early. We'll decorate the bikes. We'll have the hot chocolate, the presents, decorate the bikes and go for a bike ride.
That sounds like a really good idea. I like it. Are you there?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I lost you for a sec.
You did, and I don't know why. And now I can hear you.
It's kind of
loud.
Yes.
And not through my speakerphones.
Oh.
Are we still recording?
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. I would have been really upset if we had stopped recording because then it would have been all stop, start and funny and where were we at? But seeing though it's still recording, it's beautiful.
We'll just keep going.
Just keep going. I don't know what else to think of it. Oh, Drongos. Oh, why do I subscribe to this on iTunes? It's absolute rubbish.
Okay, we were talking about drinks. So did you have anything else you wanted to mention?
No, just the swirling marshmallow.
Okay. What about desserts, the favourite part of Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
I know for me, it's all about raw cheesecakes. That's my favourite decadent dessert. And you can do some absolutely gorgeous things with nut creams and coconut cream and macadamias and coconut for the base and just really beautiful colours with berries and beautiful flavours with different fruits. I just don't think you can go past a raw cheesecake. And actually, I've had such a win. Leah, you've got to hear this.
Okay, I'm ready. I
said to Dave something about what's your favourite Christmas dessert, and he said cheesecake, and I said, well, the only cheesecake we'll be having this year is my raw cheesecakes. And he goes, yeah, that's what I mean. Whoa!
Are you serious?
Yes.
And you've been dragging him along by the ear through this process.
He's
always so positive.
He's always been a cheesecake man. He wants his cheesecakes. But I said, no, let's just make the homemade, raw dairy-free ones. And he was very happy with that. He said, yep, I like them, especially that macadamia lime one. He loves that one. So, yay. But I think I'll have to make up a new one that's a bit more special. I've been totally inspired by the panna chocolate cheesecakes, so I'm going to try and duplicate some of them.
You need to talk to Mark. He does an amazing cheesecake.
Oh, you were telling me about it.
It's a chocolate one. It's a...
I don't know if I'm allowed to have the chocolate one.
Not for you. It's for Dave.
No, I want it to be for me as well.
No, we're trying to win over Dave. We're trying to incorporate him and drag him along. And
he'll be okay. He likes the fruit ones.
Oh, that's all right then. Okay, well, as long as he's happy. As long as you're happy, Joe. It's all about you.
Okay, I might make a little chocolate one.
Okay, just a little one.
If I'm feeling nice.
When are you not? Come on.
So what are you making for dessert?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I've been looking, and I haven't got my mind set on any one thing, but my nanny used to do the most amazing trifle.
Oh, yes.
But it's the sponginess. So I've worked out that I can do a cream out of the coconut cream, and I've got my jelly organised, but it's just that spongy cakey business that I haven't got organised yet.
I've got one on my blog from years ago that is, okay, so an almond cake layer. Mm-hmm. So it's like, they're easy enough to make. There's the custard. Oh, instead of the custard, it's lemon curd.
Oh, I know how to make that.
Yes, you do. You make a good lemon curd. And it's got raspberry coulis, so homemade, not too much sugar. Obviously, I'd cut it down from what I used to do. Yeah. And a thick coconut cream, so layers. So good.
See, I could do that.
Yes.
And so with my spinach jelly in the bottom.
Yeah, there you go. And then you'd have
green
the green
spinach
red.
Jelly.
White.
Oh, I'm there. Visually, I'm there.
It's such a pretty one with the bright red from the raspberry coulis, and yeah, it's gorgeous.
And I might even go to the second-hand shops and get some fancy glassware.
Yes.
You know how they used to use those pearlescent glasses, and we'll have instead of a crazy tea set, we'll have crazy glassware, and everyone will have a different glass.
I love that.
They can take their glass home.
Yeah.
Is that special?
That's a really good idea.
It's all special. It'll be different.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And you've got to have some bowls of fruit, so cherries, plums, nectarines, peaches.
To be eaten in moderation,
yes,
Jo.
Of course. But it is Christmas.
It is Christmas, that's right. It's Christmas.
Yes. And what about some stocking stuffers that aren't sweets? Let's talk about that.
All right. Well, we do, I know that everyone does, and well, not everyone, but in our house we do an advent calendar, where you pull something out on every day and count down the days. We've actually got one. It's one I've quilted, and it's got little pockets, and I've got a little button sewn into the top of each pocket, and on those I've got gift tags. On the back of the gift tag it says what we're doing today, so I like to be organised. So I've actually done my whole month planning on my advent calendar, so it'll say we're going to tennis, or we're going to this, we're going to that, or someone's arriving, and so the kids don't know that person is arriving. Like tonight we've got my brother-in-law Dustin arriving. They found out this morning because they checked their advent calendar.
Oh, that's exciting.
I'm organised, and I know what I'm doing first thing in the morning because they're reading out what's on the advent calendar. They don't get any special chocolates or treats or anything like that in there, but it sets them up for the day, and they'll get little push-out Christmas crafts and snowmen and mobiles and those sorts of things that I bought the previous year. I buy them just after Christmas. When Maya or David Jones or any of those craft shops have their sales, that's when I go and get those things, and I stack them away. And then I've just got the problem of trying to find them because I put them somewhere special. And I can't find them
somewhere very safe.
Very safe. Very, very safe. So, yeah, I usually panic because I can't find them.
Yeah, I do that.
We do that, and then the kids get all kinds of things in there. Like they get... Gabriel likes to peel his own carrots, so he might get a new veggie peeler.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, he is just over the moon about mussels, so we'll give him his favourite brand of tin of mussels, and they love salami and those sorts of things. So they're still getting Christmas treats in their stockings, but, they're just slightly different, and they're not of the sweet variety.
Yes. I was thinking I would try and make my my caramel white chocolate that I make, except for it will be with honey, and so we'll see how we go. But if I make a little one of those for the kids each, and then we've got things like hopefully some olives. They always like things like balloons and sparklers and that sort of stuff. And when they were little, I would make homemade Play-Doh and put it into little bags, all different colours in balls, and put that in a bag in the stocking. As they get older, obviously, that's not such a... Oh, then again, the other day, my 15-year-old son said, Mum, we should make Play-Doh. That's fun. Because he's a bit wacky.
I love singing.
Did you know you can buy adult Play-Doh now? It's actually packaged in fancy little things for adults. It's like a stress release, and they can play with it at their office desk.
Oh, no.
Maybe that's a good idea for your adults.
In those little characters, you can get a little tub of, it's kind of like a putty stuff with some stick-on eyes and some stick-on feet. They're actually quite good in Christmas stockings, but they don't come off material. So if they're playing with it in bed, it's not a great idea.
Okay, good to know.
So, probably just, surfaces, nice surfaces that you can wash off.
Yes.
That sort of thing.
We always get lots of little stationery things, so things that they'll use for school the next year.
Yes. Supplies.
Yeah, fancy little ones though, or some good drawing pencils, notepads.
Okay. I'm going to confess.
Yeah.
This is my inner dialogue is going to come out. Christmas, I turn the other way when I put it in the shopping trolley every year. I'm like, no, it's Christmas, it's all right. They always ask for chewing gum.
Yep.
Well, bubble gum or whatever. So on Christmas Day, I go over to the health food shop and they've got a chewing gum there, which is a sugar cane, and we wouldn't normally, it's sugar cane juice, not sugar. Yep. So I'm okay with that. I have no idea what they make the rubbery, plasticky, chewy part of it out of. I haven't been able to work that out. But in a pack, they get 5 sticks, and that's it. And that's their most prized possession, is that they know on Christmas they will get that thing. And it comes in like 3 flavours, and it's lemon, spearmint, or mint or something. But that's the one thing that I bend the rules for, is that, because they don't ask any other time of the year. They won't even look at it at the shelf or point at it or do anything. And if I put that in there, it's just all their dreams have come true. It doesn't matter how big the other presents are. They're always looking in the bottom of the stocking for that little tiny packet of horrid chewing gum.
So funny. It's good how they simplify their desires. When you really simplify your life and the way you eat, it actually really makes them very grateful for small things, I find.
They do. They are more, I think they are more grateful, and they realise that when you go to the shops, it is some of these special items are more expensive than what they are if you walk down the aisles of a normal grocery store.
Yeah.
So just being able to participate and have that sort of thing, and William, he's 10. He knows. He worked Santa out a few years back that it was us. But he knows, and he knows in his heart, and he kind of gives you a wink across the room, that he knows that I've gone and I've bent my rules to accommodate his needs, and that's more rewarding for him than anything else I could have given him.
Yeah.
I'm getting all mushy and soft at the moment.
Well,
Your idea.
Christmas does that to you.
I know, it's such a time of reflection.
It is.
It is.
I think that's the important thing is, like we said at the start, that the food is special, and you can do so many special things with healthy food, but it's more than just the food. And if you really focus on so many other facets of Christmas, it can be so special for the kids. I know one year we were doing a challenge, and not a challenge, what do you call it, like an elimination diet, where we totally went off gluten and dairy and sugar, and the only sugars we were having was just a bit of stevia, and we were having maybe a little bit of fruit as well, dried fruit, and to see if we could get rid of our allergies. And we did it for 3 months, and Easter fell in the middle of that. And for the first time ever, the kids were like, oh, what are we going to have, So I made some gluten-free hot cross buns that I'd basically put the batter into muffin cups and made my own little crosses out of gluten-free flour and stuff. And they had fizzy apple juice, and they had some homemade chocolates, and just because I put my heart into that Easter, because I didn't want them to be disappointed, and they have never forgotten it, and they always go on about that was the best Easter we ever had. They had stevia sweetened gluten-free buns. They had, it was nothing like they'd ever had, but it was all the effort and all the special things that I did to try and make it.
It comes back to the amount of time that you've donated or given to the day.
It does. So I think the same thing, with Christmas. Don't get distressed about all the things you can't have. Just think, how can I make it as special as possible?
Yes, definitely. Oh, you're so clever. You can be my Christmas guru.
Oh no, you've got the good ideas.
Oh, yeah. Trial and error.
Got any more there for us before we close?
No, I haven't really. But I would be really interested if people could post their favourite Christmas movie.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Well,
that makes it feel
we always watch one together.
Yeah.
And the ones we've got are a little bit boring. So
we always watch Little Women. It starts off at Christmas.
Really?
Yeah, we love Little Women.
We're on Jim Carrey. We've got the group going on. And oh my gosh. Oh, okay. So just rewinding and going back to the Christmas stocking thing.
Yes.
and getting children to understand that, you know, the candy's not great, or the amount of candy, or whatever you've decided is appropriate. There's a movie, it's called Elf.
Yeah. Oh,
E-L-F.
yes.
And it's got Buddy the Elf on it. So if anyone wants to Google Buddy the Elf eating spaghetti and watch it on YouTube, because he gives an explanation of an elf eating from the food pyramid. So I can't remember exactly what he eats, but, you know, elves eat, they try to stick to 5 food groups, which is candy corn, syrup, sugar, and, you know, something else. So I use that to punctuate the reason why we don't eat candy. It's because it's elf food and it's not people food. So the fact that we're putting in our stocking, we're actually giving it back to the elves. If you're that way inclined, I mean, whatever denomination you are or whatever your beliefs are, I'm sure you can make it fit that cultural paradigm. But that's what we use, and we use that little snippet, and it's perfect because it's only like 5 minutes long. You don't even have to get the whole movie, but if you do get the whole movie, I'll absolutely love it. But
that's,
yeah, you know, just he's pouring maple syrup on top of his spaghetti bolognese.
Oh, that sounds like Cassia. She puts honey on top of her scrambled eggs.
Yeah, but I can do that.
Oh.
I can do that. I could do a little bit of honey and a little squeeze, you know, make it kind of like a French crepe.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit of lemon and a little bit of honey. I could do that.
I do like the idea of the, that's elf food.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it is.
And that's why elves are so small. They haven't grown properly because they've eaten too much sugar.
I hadn't thought of it that way, but, you know, they don't drink coffee and they need that fast burning energy. They're not fat burners, not like humans. No.
No, that's a good one.
Yeah, so that's what I do. That's what we do. We go back and we watch that sort of stuff, and it just reinforces Mummy's little white lie about the candy. I know I'm horrid.
No, I think it's good for kids to have a fun idea of, you know, I like that little elf video. That would be a good one. Well, we might finish off there, but if you guys have any other ideas and suggestions for a healthy, quirky Christmas, we would love for you to add your suggestions either on the our Facebook pages, or you could post them on the comments on the blog, now where else is there comments? On the website for the Wellness Couch. We would love to see your ideas and we will share them. So if you have some good quirky Christmas ideas or healthy Christmas ideas or whatever, stocking stuffers that are not lollies, we'd love to see them. All right. Well, thank you, Leah, for all your great ideas, and thanks for helping me out here.
Oh my gosh, this is our first Christmas.
Our first Christmas podcast.
Oh, how exciting. I'm going to high-five myself in a minute when I get off the phone. When I get off the line. Otherwise, it just makes a big clapping sound.
That's true. You can wait. No.
You can wait. A delaying gratification. See, I've learned a lesson through this stocking stuffer. Yay!
You have.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Everyone has a safe Christmas.
Yes, we hope you do.
With lots of pictures. I want to see lots of pictures up. Can you actually do that through Facebook? You can, can't you?
They can post their photos on our pages, and we can
great.
share them.
All right. We'll make sure everyone's got to tag me in them so I know which ones I can go and look at.
Yes, if you can tag A Quirky Christmas, but you have to make sure that's with hashtag A Quirky Christmas, and you need to make sure that your photo is public.
What a brilliant idea.
Yeah, let's do that.
Hashtag, so that's the symbol, A Quirky Christmas, all lowercase, all one word.
Yep. And if you do that on Instagram and Twitter, that's really easy to find. If you do it on Facebook, you just need to make sure that your photo is set to public. Okay. Otherwise, nobody will be able to see it except for your friends.
Oh, this is going to be the best Christmas ever!
Yeah, and if you want to, you can just post it onto our Facebook page walls and then we can share them.
Brilliant.
We would love to see your photos and ideas, so please do that. Thank you so much, guys. That's it for today. Thank you for listening to A Quirky Journey, and we hope you enjoyed it and that you're finding it helpful. So I'll be posting links to the things that we talked about, to recipes and all of that kind of thing on my blog, and I'm sure Leah will post some on her Facebook page and maybe her blog as well. Whatever we can think of later, because I'm sure we'll think of more later.
Yeah, when we go into panic mode.
Yeah. And you can find our other podcasts. You'll find them on thewellnesscouch.com/A Quirky Journey. And we'll also let you know whenever we've got a podcast. It's every Friday, though. Every Friday morning, you'll find our podcast popping up. So come and listen, and please give us 5 stars and say how awesome we are so that lots of people can find us.
That's a good idea.
Yes, and we'd love for you to subscribe to our podcast on iTunes and also check out thewellnesscouch.com where you can view the entire range of wellness podcasts available.
Because I'm sure that everybody else on there has got some really good Christmas ideas.
Oh, I'm sure there's going to be heaps.
Well, there's a lot of families on the Wellness Couch, so I'm sure there's going to be some pretty good Christmas tips going on. I think I need to go stalking. Stalking and listening.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks, Leah.
Bye.
Bye.
Whilst the Wellness Couch presenter endeavor to provide accurate and helpful information to their listeners, these podcasts cannot take into account individual circumstances and are not intended to be a substitute for health and medical advice from a qualified health professional. You should always seek the advice of a qualified health professional before acting on any of the information provided by any of the Wellness Couch podcasts.